Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with the weekly TV roundup, with a slightly longer roundup than we had in the past few weeks. We're going to start off with the season premiere of Game of Thrones. Opens with a flashback to young Cersei and a friend visiting a woods witch to learn their futures. Cersei is told that she will marry a king, but a younger woman will become queen and take all that she holds dear from her. And the king that she marries will have 20 children, and she will only have 3. Cut to the present, the Tywin Lannister's funeral. Cersei insults Jaime and insists that the gathered lords and ladies need to take everything from the two of them. Across the narrow sea in Pentos, Tyrion and Viserys arrive at Magister Illyrio's manse and discuss the future. For those who may not remember, Magister Illyrio was owned the house where Daenerys and Viserys were staying at the beginning of the series. In Meereen, the Harpy statue is dragged down from the pyramid by Daenerys' Unsullied. Afterwards, one of the Unsullied visits a whore who lays beside him and sings and hums, before one of the sons of the Harpy slits his throat. Daenerys commands that the dead Unsullied be buried with honors, and Missandei then asks Grey Worm why an Unsullied would visit the whore. However, Grey Worm does not know. At the Wall, Jon is training new recruits. Sir Alliser is observing the training. Later on, Melisandre brings Jon to Stannis to discuss his loyalties, and for Stannis to ask Jon to speak with Mance Rayder about the possibility of the wildlings fighting for Stannis. In the Vale, Robb and Arryn is learning swordplay while Sansa and Littlefinger watch. Young Lord Arryn is then left to be fostered with one of the Lords of the Vale, while Sansa and Littlefinger travel west. Brienne tries to convince Podrick to leave her service. However, Podrick refuses. Sir Loras and others pass along their condolences to Cersei over Tywin's death. Lancel Lannister asks Cersei for forgiveness for his misdeeds, as he has joined a religious group known as the Sparrows, who are extraordinarily devout followers of the Seven, which the Seven are basically the gods of Westeros. Margaery Tyrell and her brother Sir Loras begin subtly scheming against Cersei. Varys and Tyrion discuss Tyrion's role in things to come, as well as political theories, leading Varys to suggest Tyrion go to Meereen to meet Daenerys Targaryen. In Meereen, Daenerys here is pleased to reopen the fighting pits, however she insists upon keeping them closed. Later, she visits her 2 imprisoned dragons, only to find that they are not happy with her in the slightest. Back at the Wall, Jon tries to convince Mance Rayder to bend the knee to Stannis. Mance refuses. Mance is later brought to Castle Black's courtyard to be burned to death. After the fires have been lit, Jon ends his suffering with an arrow to the chest. Moving on to Gotham, which has also returned from a second hiatus, it's been seen. Always with Fish Mooney trying to escape the hospital, only to learn that there are armed guards patrolling outside. At Wayne Manor, Bruce talks to Gordon about Alfred's stabbing and dodges Gordon's questions fairly well, though Gordon pretty much realizes that Bruce and Alfred know exactly who attacked Alfred. They just want to take care of it themselves. Later at the GCPD, Gordon has brought a slightly cold homicide case, and for those unaware, the term cold case means a case that has gone nowhere and been uninvestigated for a little while. And it's only slightly cold, as the victim was found fairly recently, but it was investigated briefly and then dropped. Gordon's brought said case by a uniformed officer. While consulting with Dr. Tompkins, Gordon learns that the murder happened in her neighborhood and that there are hidden speakeasies popping up throughout the neighborhood as well. Fish tells one of the other prisoners that she has an escape plan. Alfred attempts to leave Wayne Manor and track down his friend, Reggie, who stabs him. However, his wound gives him trouble and he's forced to lay back down. Fish tells her plan to some of the other prisoners, while the one she spoke of her plan to earlier watches. These prisoners being some of the harder, more violent ones. Gordon and Bullock begin investigating the case, though Bullock is against it, and they actually manage to catch a small lead. Bruce investigates leads for Alfred, having completely misunderstood what Alfred said about Reggie, while Penguin makes attempts to become the silent partner of a small bar. An interesting note, the two actually somewhat cross paths, and there's a moment where they do, and Penguin just kind of stops as though something is not entirely right. It actually did make for a very cool moment. Dr. Tompkins reports her findings from the autopsy to Gordon and Bullock. Fish attempts to get one of the elements she needs for her plan and is caught by Dolmacher, leading her to improvise a reason for being in his office. And he also threatens her with what he will do to her if she lies to him again. Bruce and Selina reunite as Bruce needs her help finding Reggie. Enigma managed to find a missing piece of evidence from the murder scene, revealing the killer to be a serial killer that Bullock knows of. Penguin reveals why he was interested in the bar, as he plans to kill Maroney there. Fish puts her plan into action and is nearly caught by Dolmacher, who is beaten by the inmates. The harder prisoners she recruited are revealed to be no more than a distraction for the guards, while Fish gets the rest on a chopper and leaves. Gordon learns about the ogre from Bullock. Quick side note, while leaving, Fish does get shot. However, she still pilots the chopper away. Gordon learns about the ogre from Bullock, who asks Gordon to pass the case to him. Bruce and Selina catch up with Reggie and learn who hired him. Reggie tells Bruce to back off, and eventually gets pushed out a window by Selina. Gordon learns that Commissioner Loeb had the uniform pass the ogre case to him. Gordon tells Loeb that after he takes down the ogre, Loeb's next. Moving on to this week's Flash. Opens with Joe and Eddie chasing a pair of would-be robbers, who Barry and Joe stop, followed by another pair at a jewelry store. Also, during this, Barry deposits a flasher in their SUV. A college professor is then attacked by bees in her car and killed. The next day, the Star Labs crew is analyzing the professor's blood sample when Felicity and Ray show up, as Ray needs help with his atom suit. Eddie tells Joe, and later Barry and Felicity, that he's having trouble basically lying to Iris about Barry. Cisco and Ray work out the trouble Ray is having with the suit, leading to Cisco remembering his now prevented death at Professor Wells' hands. Another bee attack happens, and Barry tries to stop it, though it's too late, and also ends up getting attacked by the bees himself. After being resuscitated, Barry, Felicity, and Ray go to join Eddie and Iris for dinner, though a bee slips out of Barry's suit in Star Labs. Cisco, while talking with Joe about Barry, remembers more about Professor Wells, and from the day that was altered by Barry's time travel. Barry finally tells Felicity about his suspicions concerning Wells. Dinner is cut short by Barry being called away to Star Labs, as also because of Iris and Eddie having a fight, as the bee that was stowed away in his costume is now on the loose. Barry catches the bee, and the crew find that it's a robot, and that the robot's creator/controller gets the robot's creator/controller gets a good look at Barry. Barry, Joe, and Professor Wells go to Mercury Labs to discover the identity of the killer, which they do. However, their offer of protection is turned down. Barry and Iris have a chat about Eddie, in which Barry tries to defend Eddie, and seemingly does well. Mercury Labs is attacked by the swarm of robot bees, reactivating the one at Star Labs, and allowing Felicity to track the bees, as well as their controller's location. Barry goes after the controller, while Ray goes after the bees. It also should be noted that the controller of said bees is dubbed simultaneously by Cisco and Ray the Bug-Eyed Bandit. Ray takes out the swarm while Barry takes out the Bug-Eyed Bandit. Cisco is stung by the final bee, which hid in Ray's armor, and is resuscitated by Barry. Dr. McGee from Mercury Labs tells Barry that Professor Wells seemed like a completely different person after the car accident that claimed his fiancée. Iris tells Eddie to share things with her, to stop hiding things from her, or they're over. Joe and Barry bring Caitlin and Cisco in on their investigation. Caitlin sticks up for Wells until Cisco tells them about the dreams he's been having, where Wells kills him. Dreams which he states feel more like, or don't feel like dreams, but rather memories. Moving on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., opens with a flashback to when May and Dr. Garner were married. Her and Coulson go off after a gifted individual in Bahrain. In the present, May is asked about Theta Protocol, which the real S.H.I.E.L.D. believes is Coulson growing an army of gifteds. Skye and Jiang, her guide and also mother, work on Skye's gifts to tap into the vibration of objects. In the past, Coulson and May approach the gifted individual, and things go south very quickly. In the present, May and Bobby go back to the old base to hopefully talk Coulson in. Raina and Gordon talk, Gordon trying to calm Raina down while she speaks of her dreams to him. And Lincoln overhears. Jiang and Skye work with Skye's water vibration abilities, though it doesn't entirely well, but not badly. Afterwards, Jiang reveals to Skye that they are mother and daughter. However, Skye is told she must keep it a secret. May and Simmons discuss the projects Coulson has had Simmons working on, revealing that some of those projects include Deathlock tech. In the past, May goes to rescue imprisoned agents who were taken by the Gifted, and learns that the Gifted is taking control of the assault team. May, Simmons, and Mac go over Coulson's strips and discover that Coulson and Garner have been meeting, and that Coulson has picked up 100 bunk beds, leading them to believe that Coulson is building a base for a gifted army. Jiang tells Skye about a woman who once stole Terrigen crystals for her daughter, only to be stopped with lethal force by May. Skye realizes she's heard the story before from Coulson, as it's the story that led to May taking a desk job. Jiang adds that she saw darkness in the woman's daughter, denied her the crystals, leading to the woman stealing the crystals and using them on the girl, who was killed by May as well. And as I said, this is shown to be what led to May going for a desk job as opposed to field work, as well as most likely what led to her divorce from Dr. Garner. Jiang and Skye have a family dinner with Cal. Lincoln realizes that Raina's dreams aren't dreams, but rather visions. Fitz opens up the toolbox and manages to contact Coulson and Hunter, who help Fitz shake the tail he has so he can link up with them. And now, moving on to this week's episode of Scorpion. Over to the neurotoxicity lab being flooded with sarin gas. A former client brings Walter a component for his rocket, as well as a Ferrari. Cabe is briefed on what's happened at the lab as well as the hacker's demands. The hacker's time frame passes, leading to one of the scientists in the lab being killed. Cabe tells Walter an additional detail about the Baghdad mission from Cabe and Walter's previous time working together. Meanwhile, Ralph leaves school with an attempt to help the team. Walter has Cabe removed as liaison to Scorpion, while the rest of the team discovers that the hack is actually an inside job. The team manages to identify the hacker as well as a way in. Walter agrees to have Cabe go in with him, though the magnets Cabe is using begin to start slipping, leading to a just reactivated incinerator, or a currently active incinerator, I should say. Using the invention of Happy's, Cabe and Walter manage to get out of danger. Walter fixes the servers while Cabe rescues the hostages. Walter offers himself up to the hacker, who still releases the sarin. Ralph slips into the building to seal the hole that Walter made in the incinerator's vent. Walter manages to get away from the hacker and out of the building shortly before the gas hits the entrance. Later, Paige leaves the team and as she feels it's dangerous for Ralph to be involved with them, and announces that she's moving to Maine with Drew, her ex, and Ralph's father. Shortly afterward, Walter takes the Ferrari for a drive and wrecks it off a mountain road. And that's where the episode ended. That's all we got for this week. Sorry there wasn't a video Saturday. Honestly, just really enjoying my vacation a bit much, so there will be one this coming Saturday. Mark my words, it will happen. But anyways, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links to my Twitter and Facebook are down below in the description. It's Rock and Roll Spock signing off, and as always, live long, rock hard.